Humankind has been enamored by the moon for as long as anyone can remember, and that's affected our entertainment as well. Games, of course, haven't been immune to that obsession. More than a few times, games have taken giant leaps and taken us right to the lunar surface, and here we're going to talk about a few of them that did exactly that. Note, this feature contains spoilers for every game that is mentioned. If we begin talking about a game that you don't want spoiled, skip ahead to the next entry. Before we go ahead, please consider subscribing to our channel. We upload new videos every single day and your support really helps us out. With that out of the way, let's start. WOLFENSTEIN: The New Order. WOLFENSTEIN as a series has never been afraid of flights of fantasy, and The New Order, in typical Wolf fashion, has plenty of that going on as well. To secure lunar launch codes, BJ infiltrates a Nazi base on the moon, killing Nazis, destroying drones, and even donning a spacesuit and walking on the moon's surface. It's one of the game's best missions, and serves to exemplify how far-flung the series can get with its stories, in a good way. Deliver Us the Moon. Well, this one is obvious. Deliver Us the Moon is an excellent game set entirely on the moon, where you traverse its harsh environments and explore abandoned facilities in a post-apocalyptic future to save humanity from extinction. From its story to its visuals to its gameplay mechanics, Deliver Us the Moon constantly makes excellent use of its lunar setting, which means it's more deserving on a list like this than most other games out there. Mass Effect.
Drop the Mako. We'll go in hot and take him out.
I'll get you in underneath their radar, Commander.
Mass Effect is a galaxy-spanning game in which you fly to a vast number of systems and explore numerous alien planets, asteroids, and moons. In comparison, the fact that you get to drive the Mako on the moon and walk on its surface seems pretty tame, but you do it. It's largely restricted to side quests, but nonetheless, seeing the Earth floating above it and dominating the sky is still a sight worth seeing. Destiny. Another obvious choice. Destiny fans would go ballistic if Bungie's looter shooter wasn't mentioned somewhere on this list. Featuring as a small explorable area in Destiny 1, the moon is a location that series fans hold special in their hearts, and elements such as its underground Hellmouth sections definitely do help it stand out. Returning in Destiny 2, the moon offers a nice mix of old and new content as well. Super Mario Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey ends its globetrotting adventure with a trip to the moon, and what a trip it is. The low gravity on the moon's surface makes platforming an absolute joy, throwing a new twist on mechanics that you've gotten used to over the course of the entire game. That, combined with some excellent platforming gauntlets and an incredible finale, makes Moon Kingdom one of the best locations in the entire kingdom, which is really saying something. Kerbal Space Program. While most games on this list make the moon special as a destination, when it comes to Kerbal Space Program, it's getting to the moon part that's so special. It requires effort and planning in several failed attempts, and even though its surface is appropriately barren, when you finally get there after hours of trials, claiming it for yourself and planting your flag on its surface feels incredibly satisfying. Destroy All Humans 2. Destroy All Humans 2 isn't satisfied with just making you, well, destroy all humans. Crypto crosses paths with other aliens who have similar ambitions, which of course leads to territorial conflict, which in turn takes him to the moon in order to hunt down those pesky aliens and destroy them all. And yes, exploring the moon and using your psionic powers there while killing other aliens is exactly as fun as you'd expect. Duke Nukem 3D. So much about Duke Nukem has aged horribly, but even so, it's still undeniably fun to go blasting through hordes of enemies. Several chapters of Duke Nukem 3D see the titular hero decimating enemy forces while traversing the moon and the corridors of its bases, and from the high-octane action to the boss encounter that caps off the episode, to the sights that you get to see, it's a fun romp from beginning to end. Spelunky 2. Spelunky 2, much like its predecessor, sees you diving deep into caves and tunnels to collect treasures and battle or escape foes, but it does it with a lunar twist. The entire game is set on the moon, and while mostly that serves as background set dressing in order to facilitate the kind of gameplay Spelunky was already known for, it does lead to far greater environmental diversity in the sequel than in its predecessor. Gran Turismo 6. Yeah, this one is weird, but good weird. Gran Turismo is all about realism, simulation, and authenticity, so of course it makes sense that GT6 would take you to the moon, right? Driving a lunar rover on the moon's surface is not something you'd expect to do in a hyper-realistic racing sim, but that's exactly what you do in Gran Turismo 6. And you know what? It's a lot of fun. You can't go too fast, you have to contend with the lower gravity, which makes for a nice change of pace literally from the rest of the game. Prey. While the moon is missing from the base game, Prey's Moon Crash DLC is set in a lunar base, and as anyone who's played it will tell you, it's one of the best expansions to have been released for a game in recent memory. Excellent level design, brilliantly implemented roguelike elements, varied and interesting playable characters, and so much more comes together for a thrilling experience that almost stands toe-to-toe with the amazing base game itself. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
We need to insert now! Open the well deck! Heads up, we're hot! Good to go, gang! Alpha 2's down! Bravo's in! Alpha 1 is in! Gator, get out of here! Moving to holding button. Terminal is due north, Staff Sergeant. I don't need coordinates from you, Ethan. Contact!
Call of Duty went full sci-fi with Infinite Warfare, and while the game certainly has its fair share of detractors, to say the very least, there's no denying that it has one of the best single-player Call of Duty campaigns. And one of the highlights of that campaign is where you head to the moon, which in true Call of Duty fashion is defined by frantic combat and thrilling adrenaline-fueled set-piece moments. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Another obvious choice. The moon looms large in The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, literally. You spend a bulk of the game looking up at its terrifying face and trying to ensure that it doesn't crash into Termina. Towards the end, Luke heads into the innards of the moon, and after an appropriately climactic battle with Majora, succeeds in returning the celestial body to its proper place in the sky. Puppeteer. Puppeteer may not have been an extraordinary game, but it was a solid, charming platformer that probably deserved more attention than it got. Set on the moon, the vast majority of the game sees its players traversing its environment in order to acquire moon shards and defeat the moon's tyrannical ruler, the Moon Bear King. Thanks to charming art design and fun traversal, exploring these environments is more often than not quite an enjoyable experience. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and we would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.